Wife having an affair. I'm divorcing her. I recently noticed some subtle differences in my wife's behavior that set off my alarm bells. So yesterday, while she was at work, I popped open her laptop and checked her texts in the browser. The first text that came up confirmed my suspicions. I'm pretty devastated. There's a huge disconnect in our opinions of our marriage. I thought it was stronger than ever and that we were really on the same page with our finances, goals, and parenting. I had originally planned to keep my mouth shut until I talked to my lawyer, but when I realized today that she was going to see the dude again, I decided I couldn't emotionally handle playing happy family with my son alone while she was with him. So I called her friend, whom I knew from her text that she told, and asked her to watch my son this evening so we can discuss. My son has his BFF over right now, so I pulled her aside and told her that I planned to divorce and had a short conversation on the matter. I knew her friend would immediately call her and warn her, so it ended up being the calm, short initial talk that I was hoping for. It was calm, there were tears, but I was very straightforward that I was divorcing her. I started my intention that my son is my main focus, and because of that, I want this to be as amicable of a process as possible so that we can remain a parenting team after it's all done. I told her that I can't emotionally handle playing happy family alone at home while she has her fun, and she agreed not to. I don't believe her at all, but if she hides it much better, that's the best I can hope for. We're letting our son have fun with his friend while we independently gather our thoughts and prepare to discuss this evening while he's out of the house. After telling her, I still don't feel any better. I'm so crushed, and the thoughts of all the changes that are coming quickly is overwhelming, and I'm fighting to stop panic attacks. Reading posts in this forum is helpful to know I'm not alone, but man, they do not make me feel any better yet. Well, this is the start of my journey. I've already set up an appointment with a divorce attorney for Monday. I copied as many text messages between her and her AP and emailed them to myself. I saw her delete them right after her friend called her, so glad I did. I recorded my initial conversation with her. I'd appreciate any advice on things I should or shouldn't discuss with the wife this evening and questions I should ask the attorney. By the way, I rarely drink, so that advice is well heeded. I don't do any drugs either. Edit. She agreed with me that she wants this to be as amicable as possible. She called herself selfish and terrible. I didn't respond to that. Said there was no organized plan to do this. Said she's been feeling like we have nothing in common and doesn't want to retire and just coexist while never talking to each other. Said she brought it up once, which I remember, but I thought I had a great answer at the time for what we do have in common. I told her that if she would have pushed harder in the conversation, I would have taken more action. But perhaps I should have been more alarmed. Said she feels like she's been spiraling ever since she started working a year and a half ago. She has bipolar, and it's sounding like a manic episode coming on. I've decided to myself that that's no longer my problem unless it affects our son. Update. Only been a few days since I posted, but I feel ready to share more. On the wife. She's still living with me, moved her to the guest room. I don't mind this. I want her here to help my son through this. We've been very amicable and in total agreement so far on how we want to split things. On the divorce. I met with an attorney and they were very helpful. Before I could ask about it, they said that our circumstances, being in total agreement, would make mediation make more sense. I like this route. Much cheaper and slightly less pain. We both met together with a mediator. That went very well. Everything we want to do with regards to splitting, they said, is very possible. We're just trying to work out the best mechanism to keep her financially afloat so my son isn't living in squalor. We're in agreement on 50-50 custody. She wants me to keep the house, and I want to keep the house. We were afraid I'd have to buy her out, which would put me in a big financial bind. The mediator assured us that we can avoid that scenario if we can stay amicable about it, so we're relieved to hear that. Blog time. So far, I've informed all my immediate family minus one sibling, letting that last sibling know tonight. So I have my family support structure almost set. I've taken almost every piece of advice to heart. Been hitting a gym every day, started eating salads for lunches, drinking mostly only water. I haven't had a sip of alcohol, and I didn't use any drugs anyway. Signed up for that Surviving Infidelity website, but I'm not a huge fan. Their fear versus reality thread was a great read. So far, I'm sleeping better and feeling just a tad bit less emotionally drained. I only have 3 things causing me issues right now. My birthday's this weekend. I'm both excited and really dreading it. We're still putting on the happy family facade and going out to eat with our son. I know I'm going to break down at some point in front of him, or at least that's the fear. I'm really struggling with the fact that my soon-to-be ex is no longer my emotional support. Yes, I have my family and my best friend to talk to, but that's never been my go-to in the past, so it's a challenge to tear down my own walls there and rely on them. I find myself constantly hoping for some comfort from the soon-to-be ex, and I know it's not healthy or even going to happen. I believe I'm still very firmly in the denial stage of grief. Not that I can't believe I'm getting divorced, but that I'm actively pushing out thoughts of the impending initial loneliness when the soon-to-be ex moves out, and I haven't yet adjusted to life alone. I'm just not ready to address that yet. Overall, I'd describe myself as better than yesterday, but I'm not really dealing with my emotions the way I probably should. Therapy yet. You did everything right in a situation where there's no way to feel right. The reason you don't feel relief yet is because the shock hasn't worn off yet. You're still in crisis mode. Panic, the emptiness, the how is my life? One thing to be careful of, she cannot be your emotional support anymore. I know you already know that intellectually, but your brain will keep reaching for her out of habit. Every time you do, it resets the wound. Lean on friends, family, and therapy. Even strangers online, but not her. Emotional detachment is painful, but it's how you survive this with your dignity intact. You're not weak for struggling, and you're not failing because this feels overwhelming. You're a dad who just had his world pulled out from under him, and it's completely, utterly justified to be a nervous wreck. Comments. It's early, and you've already made a lot of progress. Proud of you for doing what you need to do, even though it's not easy. Take it one day at a time, and don't pressure yourself to feel fine when you're going through huge changes. That cliche saying is true, LOL. It's okay not to be okay. Things will get better with time. You're being realistic and grounded, which is so incredibly helpful for you. It'll help you heal healthier. It's also new that nobody would expect you to be anything other than still somewhat in shock and unable to process all the feelings. So don't worry too much about that. There's so many things that'll change. It will be hard to process them, and it won't happen in a few days or a few weeks. Some of it'll take months or maybe more to fully process and move past. So just take it one day at a time. It's absolutely best for your son to keep things peaceful. I did this with my ex, and my kids are doing amazing, and her and I still get along reasonably well. If you guys can agree on 100% everything, you may not even need the lawyer to do the divorce at all. Just fill out the forms from your state's website, and it should outline the process.